Chicago and the Philippines. A comprehensive review of the week's special community events, featuring many exciting personalities, handled by the most professional Chicago Philippine Reports TV staff.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Chicago Philippine Reports TV, still the #1 Filipino show in the Midwest. I'm Girly Pascual. Welcome to our show. Today we have all the top stories from the Philippines. We also have what's happening in our own Filipino-American community of Chicago. We have interesting interviews led by our very own executive producer, Miss Veronica Layton. We have Bridget Cotero Carino. All these are coming up and more afterward from our sponsors. Please stay with us.
It's more fun in the Philippines.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 901-245-4874. That's 901-245-4874. 901-245-4874. That's 901-245-4874.
More than a majority of senators voted to ratify the country's accession to the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, an agreement between the 10-country Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, with China, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, and South Korea to expand trade while reducing and eliminating tariff. Senate leaders went all out to pitch for the pact.
This is a continuing consultation that will not stop in talking. In short, hindi po tutudukan sa pananalita at debate. Dahil nga, ang pagbaba ng taripa ay hindi naman kaagad zero. Matagal na panahon. So may panahon pong maghanda ang agrikulturang sektor. It is not a magic pill. Kung lumaki, sabihin mo na, wag naman sana, ang ating trade deficit sa ilang bansa. May nagkulang somewhere.
Senators Francis Escudero and Pia Cayetano were not able to join voting, while Senator Risa Ontiveros cast the lone dissenting vote.
Dapa na po ang ating agrikultura. Hindi pa tayo nakakaahon sa pandemya. This is not the time for RCEP. I vote no.
The president's sister abstained.
Itong mga emergency measures na sinasabi, parang palamuti na lang at parang consuelo de bobo, pagkat hindi naman nagagamit, hindi naman napapanalunan. Ito nga ang kinatatakutan natin.
At the House of Representatives, the president's eldest son and first cousin led the charge to support the ratification of the RCEP. House Senior Deputy Majority Leader Sandro Marcos himself sponsored House Resolution 728, which he authored with Uncle Speaker Martin Romualdez and 2 other House leaders.
In this present era of globalization, digitalization, and regional cooperation, it is the duty of our government to rebalance the economic advantages we can gain vis-a-vis the disadvantages and risks that we may have to live through should we decide to defer accession to or join the RCEP.
Agricultural groups are concerned. The Group Pamalakaya says the deluge of imports will endanger the livelihood of local agricultural workers.
Malinaw na babaha ang imported na isda sa ating bayan dito sa pagbubukas sa ratification at formally na pag-member natin dito sa RCEP. Ito ay malinaw na magkikinabang lamang dito sa patakaran na ito ay yung China. Kasi malinaw na sino ang nagtutulak nitong RCEP ay yung pangunguna ng China na kung saan ay meron silang mga surplus na produkto at surplus na kapital kailangan nila ng malawak na market at merkado ng pagbibinta ng kanilang surplus na produkto.
CNAG, for its part, says current laws meant to protect the sector were never implemented, which is why the group is skeptical guidelines and oversight will work. The Bakabayan bloc in the House urges the government to strengthen local industries instead of going the way of RCEP. The Department of Agriculture tried to pacify concerns by giving assurances they will ensure the competitiveness of local products.
We will continue to strengthen our programs pagdating po sa capacity building, no? Hindi lamang po sa pagpapaganda ng production or the yield, but also for market linkage and value adding para po maging competitive ang ating mga local produce, because this is a way to help them also in preparation for any other players pagdating po sa retail selling.
Business groups like the Management Association of the Philippines meanwhile welcomed the vote, saying RCEP will boost the country's competitiveness in attracting foreign investments. The Makati Business Club calls it a victory for the Philippines.
This is the kind of agreement that if we do things right, it can help make us a manufacturer and even an agricultural economy, or strengthen those sectors at least. If we get access to those sectors and if we support industries here, especially manufacturing and services, we can make the economy stronger and of course create more jobs.
But Employers Group says the implementation of the agreement deserves vigilance.
If the safeguards that were promised to those losers in this, especially the agri sector, are not delivered, and if smuggling is not curtailed, I think we will have a big problem.
NEDA Secretary Arsenio Balisacan thanks the Senate for taking what he calls a bold and game-changing move, while Finance Secretary Benjamin Diokno says it will lead to a more open and transparent trade environment.
The Philippines and Australia discussed on Wednesday the possibility of pursuing joint patrols in the South China Sea. Australian Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Defense Richard Marles met with Philippine Defense Officer in Charge Carlito Galvez Jr. at Camp Aguinaldo as part of his official trip to Manila. Marles arrived in the Philippines on Tuesday night and is expected to meet with senior government officials to discuss the two nations' bilateral ties.
Both countries, which, as I said earlier, are committed to the maintenance of the global rules-based order. We're both countries who are deeply invested in asserting the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea throughout the world, but in places like the South China Sea, where most of Australia's trade traverses. And so, as countries which are committed to the global rules-based order, it is natural that we should think about ways in which we can cooperate in this respect. And so we did talk today about the possibility of exploring joint patrols, and we will continue that work, and we hope that that comes to fruition soon.
Galvez echoed Marles' pronouncements, saying both countries also seek to expand their bilateral trainings beyond their armies.
The training that we have having right now is basically heavy on the army, but what we're trying to explore with the agreement of both governments, to have an explored engagement between navies and also the Air Force.
The defense chief added joint patrols between the Philippines and Australia are no longer new, since such initiative was already done in the past years at the Celebes Sea and Sulu Sea. In a statement released by the palace, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. welcomes the visit of Australia's Deputy Prime Minister, saying the future lies in strong alliances and in a united front in promoting the values considered important by both countries. Meanwhile, following China's recent laser-pointing activity at a Philippine Coast Guard ship, the United States said it is supporting the Philippines in its activities in Ayungin Shoal, noting that it is part of the country's exclusive economic zone. Washington's backing for Manila was expressed during U.S. Defense Chief Lloyd Austin III's phone call with Galvez on Wednesday. Reiterating the mutual defense treaty between the Philippines and the U.S., Austin said that an armed attack against Philippine assets would invoke the defense agreement. The defense officials likewise discussed several proposals to deepen operational cooperation and enhance shared security, including the resumption of joint operations in the South China Sea. However, over the weekend, Marcos Jr. said he will not invoke the MDT amid the laser-pointing incident involving the China Coast Guard. Signed in 1951, the MDT mandates Manila and Washington to come to each other's aid if either country is under armed attack.
If we activate that, what we are doing is escalating, intensifying the tensions in the area. And I think that would be counterproductive. Besides, despite the fact that it was a military-grade laser that was pointed at our Coast Guard, I do not think that it is sufficient for it to trigger the mutual defense treaties.
Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo meanwhile says if China would impede the Philippines in the West Philippine Sea, it should do it in a more friendly way rather than pointing a laser. Speaking in an interview with German broadcaster DW, Manalo said China can at least ask the Philippines not to proceed to a certain area, but stressed that the Philippines would not necessarily agree.
A video of the ambush in Baretbet, Bagabag, Nueva Vizcaya on Sunday that killed Vice Mayor Romel Alameda and his 5 companions has surfaced. The video, now in the hands of Cagayan Valley Police, is now part of the investigation.
Yung bagong video na nakuha, tumutugma siya. Dadali natin yan sa RACU for kung pwedeng maging clear yung pagkakuha dun sa mga bumabaril. Buti na nga lang at mayroong malakas ang loob na nag-video niyan. So sana yung mga ibang bystander, baka mayroon silang mas clearer na video. Mangyaring isubmit na lang po sa amin para makatulong dito sa investigation.
Witnesses to the incident thought there was a police encounter because the gunman wore uniforms. Meanwhile, the PNP is convinced that the scorched vehicle found in Ujawan, Solano is the getaway vehicle used by the suspects.
Iyon ang ating pagtaya sapagkat base doon sa escape route ng mga suspect ay doon din natagpuan yung nasunog na Mitsubishi Adventure.
The Highway Patrol Group has already identified the previous owner of the vehicle.
Sa ngayon, hindi muna natin ibibigay yung address ng unang may-ari sapagkat operational data pa yan at maaaring makapag-alerto yan doon sa iba pang mga hinahanap natin tao.
The Special Investigation Task Group is still looking into the possible motive behind the brutal killings. In Apari, friends and supporters showed their support to the bereaved families of the victims. The Union of Local Authorities of the Philippines, or ULAP, has also condemned the attack that killed Vice Mayor Alameda as well as the ambush of Lanao del Sur Governor Manintal Adjong Jr. on February 17.
Naka-alarma kung gaano kalakas ang loob ng mga perpetrators nito, and kung nagagawa po nila ito sa mga opisyales ng ating pamahalaan, and our security of the government officials are a threat. Paano pa kaya yung security ng mga ordinaryong mamamayan natin na walang katungkulan?
Asian stocks tumbled on Wednesday after the S&P suffered its worst day in 2023 and Treasury yields rose sharply as markets priced in higher interest rates. Philippine shares among the worst performers of the day, sliding back to 6,600, almost wiping out all of this year's gains from January. PhilStocks Financial's Japheth Tantiangco says the PSEI is now a value play.
If you're going to look at the local market's current level, it's trading at a PE ratio of just between 14 to 15 times. So that's the current PE. That's where the current PE ratio of the market is, and this is well below its 5-year historical average.
For the day, the PSE index shed 1.5% to close at 66.99, with net foreign selling at over 750 million pesos.
90% less water, 90% less land, and it's more productive. But I think the difference that we're trying to do is the scale that we're doing it. You can imagine 1,600 metric tons of vegetables, fresh vegetables annually. It's going to be scientifically done. We do have IoT, maybe not EVs yet.
In corporate stories, Metro Pacific Agro Ventures is gung-ho about the agriculture sector and playing a bigger role in food security. President and CEO Jovi Hernandez shares 2 key areas they're looking at. 1, producing locally what we mostly import, and 2, focusing on areas where the Philippines should be the #1 producer. Metro Pacific, which is focused on water, power, Hospitals and Toll Roads is ramping up its agribusiness with the Carmen's best deal last year and Excelum buy-in this year.
Looking at least contributing, getting to the 1 billion level in terms of top line revenues at the soonest possible time, and then from there we move to, getting to the 5 billion level.
Can you do that in 1 year?
You sound like MVP. Maybe in 2 we will be there. We still have to build the facilities.
Hernandez says once the Bulacan model works, they may replicate the vegetable greenhouse project in Visayas and Mindanao. And finally, Elon Musk's SpaceX announced its Starlink internet service is now up and available in the Philippines. Users can go to Starlink's website and input their address to check availability of the satellite service in their area. Speed can go as fast as 200 Mbps. Starlink positions low Earth orbit satellites into space to establish an internet connection that can reach even remote areas. As for the cost, the gear will set you back by around $599 per unit, with monthly services at $99.
Imagine this is your money and someone wants to take it from you. Who is it? The IRS. Guess what? They want your money and they can take it, all of it if they want. Remember, they sent you that letter right over here that said, hey, you owe us a bunch of cash and we're going to take it from you right now. So what do? You fight back by letting our team of experts work it out with the IRS so you can keep your money. And hey, we're good at what we do. When you hire us, you get a team of guys on your side that know the IRS laws, and we'll fight really hard to save your money. So if you owe the IRS a ton of cash and you want to keep it, call right now and learn for free how we can help you put it back in your pocket. 5 minutes of your time right now can save you thousands of dollars. And the best part, it's a free call, so please call right now.
Via Times, vital news, vibrant views for the Filipino Asian communities in Chicago. Via Times for your most interesting and exciting reading and your party coverages. Via Times has very interesting columnists. You name it, Via Times has it. Law, Filipino news, dentistry, immigration, humor, serious opinions, health, beauty, mysticism, Bata Corner, showbiz, and intelligently written editorials. Call Via Times at 773-866-0811.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat and welcome to Veronica's segment of the show. Today I have two very interesting guests who will be talking about Operation Smile, and this organization has been very familiar in our Filipino-American community as it has helped a lot of young kids in the Philippines long time ago, and I think it's still ongoing. And this guest will be talking about the Operation Smile and the what do you call the Operation Smile Connect, right, guys? Okay, help me welcome Ethan, young and good looking, and Brigitte, so pretty, and let us ask them to introduce themselves to our viewing audience. Welcome to our show, guys. From
Thank
Operation
you.
Smile and Operation Smile Connect. Did I say
Thank
it?
you.
Okay. So, will you please introduce yourself, what you do in the Operation Smile Connect, Brigitte?
Yes, hi. My name is Bridget McGee Clifford, and I am the Associate Vice President of Student Programs for Operation Smile. And we have a very, very robust program around student leadership so that we can teach our next generation about Operation Smile and all the work that we do around the world in taking care of children living with cleft condition. This involves club activity, conferences, and also means for students to get out with us in the field to work alongside of us to really get the benefit of seeing all of our work in action and meeting the children and their families. These students are very deserving of these placements after all of their volunteer work with us. And so my job is just to make sure that we provide any and all access to this program. We do have about 18,000 student volunteers around the world in about 25 of our countries. So it's a force to be reckoned with, and we are very proud of them and what they do for the organization.
Terrific. Okay. How about you, Ethan? Will you please introduce yourself to our viewing audience?
Yeah, my name's Ethan. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and I go to school at The Ohio State University, and I am one of those 18,000 student volunteers that Bridget was talking about. So I've been able to go to, I recently went to Panama for a community program and surgical program, and I'm a leader for my club on campus, and I've also helped be involved with Cleft Connect, which I'm sure we'll talk about soon. But yeah, it's been really great to get involved with the organization and just see all the amazing work we do. And having a Cleft myself, it's really kind of rewarding to be involved with an organization like this. So
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Ethan. Okay. Back to you, Bridget. You mentioned before the start of the interview that your parents are the founders of the Operation Smile. Maybe you can you can explain to us briefly what they did and also what's the Operation Smile all about.
Yeah, so I was only 13 when my parents were asked to go on a medical mission to the Philippines to take care of children living with cleft. And they decided to bring me along with them during that mission trip. And they went to 3 different places to take care of children that year. And there was one location where we were not able to take care of all the kids that showed up for screening. And my parents are very, very altruistic. And my mother, with 5 children of her own, healthy children, she really couldn't bear the thought of not coming back and taking care of those children that we had left behind. And so they came back to Norfolk, Virginia, where we lived, and rallied friends and raised some funds. And we were able to send another group of medical professionals back to Cebu and take care of those children that we had left behind. But more children showed up that year than just the 40 that we had left behind. And so my father always says that it's emotion that leads to action. And I think the emotional component of knowing that we could take care of these kids as long as we rallied our friends and we raised some money, it was really, really hard not to go back, because if we did not go back, we did not know who was going to be taking care of these kids. And so Operation Smile really just started based on emotion and knowing that we had the means to access funds and volunteers. And after that, my parents were called on by other countries in Africa, in Vietnam. It just started dominoing of having them come out and access, resources in the country and seeing what the need was based on children living with cleft condition.
Did you visit the Philippines, Bridget?
Yes, actually, I was there once at 13. And then when student programs officially started in 1985, they brought me back with some of my peers from my high school to be volunteers, official volunteers for the organization. So I went back at 16 and was part of a full-fledged Operation Smile mission, one of the very, very first ones to launch.
Amazing.
Yes. And I need to go back. I have not been back to the Philippines since. So it is my goal before the end of my time to get back to the Philippines.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's such a beautiful dream, Bridget. Okay, back to Ethan. Ethan is from Columbus, Ohio, right? And Bridget is from Virginia. Which
Virginia Beach.
Okay. Okay, Ethan, what do you do with the Operation Smile Connect?
Yeah, so I was the president of my club here at the Ohio State University. So we do a bunch of stuff kind of around the local community. I also work at the Nationwide Children's Hospital, so I'm part of like the kind of the team there that works with the Cleft Clinic. So kind of some of my club activities kind of revolve around that too. And then me and Bridget have been working together on Cleft Connect, which has been kind of uniting kids from around the world with cleft conditions to come on the little Zoom chats like this and kind of share some experiences and talk about what they've been going through recently on a meeting. There's a girl who is about to have a jaw surgery that I had almost a year and a half now ago, so I was able to kind of give her some of my wisdom that I've had from my surgery. So it's just been great to like have this kind of network where we can share advice and talk to other people who are going through the same things that we have. So yeah, it's been really rewarding to be a part of that. And I think it's really helping a lot of the kids who are going on.
Have you visited other countries doing this? Countries like what?
So in November, I went on a program in Panama. So we started in Panama City and then went to David, Panama. And there was a small surgical program there. And then we also went out sort of into like more indigenous communities, and we're going to schools and other healthcare centers to kind of spread awareness about cleft conditions and, give donations and that kind of thing to these local communities.
All right, thank you, Ethan. Bridget, okay, about this Operation Smile Connect, how big an organization is this? And which is the mother company? It's the Operation Smile, right? The
Yes,
mother.
well,
Yeah.
this is a program that falls under Operation Smile Student Program. So the goal of this program, and it's relatively new, Ethan has been one of my core leaders in getting this launched, is to provide this online network to anyone living with cleft condition that's kind of in that teenage age range. So anywhere from like 12 or 13 to 18, maybe 19, 21, because what we're learning is that, these kids go through so much in their childhood, whether it's through surgeries, dental care, speech pathology, and they do also many things just like other kids do in their schools and in their communities, but there's no one that really understands what they're going through except for that kid that also has the condition. So our goal is to be very inclusive in terms of if somebody from Peru wants to come on or someone from the Philippines wants to come on and network with this group of people, we want to provide this platform for everyone because it's a chance for them to lean on each other, to learn from each other, and to also create these friendships from all around the world because we have children living everywhere with cleft. I mean, they are teaching me so much about even cleft kids in the United States because I've been around this for 40 years, and due to the pause around the pandemic, I had a chance to focus in on our US kids. And we have thousands of kids in the United States that are born with cleft condition. And, one of Ethan's goals and his peers' goals is to make sure that we do better at providing more education around cleft and palate so that there's more empathy for that. Because these kids do miss out on things. They have to make decisions, big decisions on when they're going to have their surgeries, when are they going to, they miss things. So it's not a typical upbringing that they have, yet there's a lot of resilience in the way that they are. They seem to, I'm learning they have a lot of grit in their core, and they go after things with a lot of energy and positivity and integrity. And so how great would it be for us to build this very, very large network of people that really, really resonate with each other? And that's the goal.
All right, thank you. Ethan, are there many cases, cleft cases in the Western world comparable uh, to the Asian countries? Do you have the data?
I don't have the concrete data for sure, but I'm pretty sure based on what we discussed and all the data that's out there that I've seen is it's much more common kind of in the developing countries. So, we definitely not to underestimate or undermine the amount we have here. There's definitely a significant amount of kids, in the States and other Western countries that have it, but I think it's definitely more prevalent in some of the developing countries in Asia and Africa and South America.
Okay, so what is in the offing? Well, how can our Filipino American community be awakened uh, to help out the Operation Smile or the Operation Smile Connect?
Well, as an organization, there's many ways for people to help us. I mean, obviously, a donation is very much appreciated, but we also really push people helping us spread awareness about who we are. We are walking into our fifth decade of Operation Smile. We just celebrated 40 years. We've taken care of over 460,000 children living with cleft in those 40 years. But with some of our data outreach teams, we have discovered there are about 5 million people in the world living with cleft condition. That's a lot of people. And so what we're trying to tackle as an organization over the next 10 years is to help 1 million people, not only surgically, but through dental care, nutrition, speech pathology, and psychosocially. So with this young group of people that we're meeting through Cleft Connect, that's another way for our volunteers to get involved to help us spread the awareness. And then if you're a businessman, if you're connected to someone that has resources in terms of medical equipment or anything of that nature, surgical gowns, gloves, you name it, we'll take a donation, an in-kind donation. So it's really as easy as looking us up on the website at operationsmile.org and dialing into people from that website in terms of how they can help. But in the school community, we have, again, like I said, so many thousands of volunteers. They can start in elementary school. We have a huge high school program, and we're really starting to build on our university program. But these kids go out, they speak for us, they do fundraisers, and they also advocate for our children living with cleft in their communities. So there are all sorts of ways to get involved, and then Ethan can speak on Cleft Connect.
Great, terrific. All right, we're running out of time. How about Ethan, one last appeal from you to our viewing audience?
Yeah, I'd say just, if you're interested, I'd say just get involved in any way that you can. As Bridget kind of laid out, there's so many ways that everyone can get involved if they want. So I just say, go to the website and see what interests you, or maybe just activate your local community, your friends, your family. We're really, especially for students too, we have a very expansive student program. So just like we have the mindset here where if a student were to come in with an idea, we make it happen. Whereas maybe other places, they might not feel comfortable following the student's ideas, but we have ideas, I have ideas that, I say, and we get the ground running and we start them and it happens. So it's a really fun and engaging organization. So yeah, I just recommend just getting involved in any way you can and helping support, people like me with cleft conditions both in the United States and around the world. So.
And we do have an Instagram. It's OSSudpro, OSSUDPRO. And on our Instagram posts, we do post about Cleft Connect. And the next one, Ethan, is this coming Sunday, right?
Yes, February 26th.
So they can find the flyer on the Instagram and scan the QR code and get registered with us.
Thank you so much for gracing our show today, Bridget and Ethan. Thank you so much. And anytime that you need our help, let us know. And
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for having us, Veronica.
maraming salamat. Thank you so much for gracing our show. Bye.
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 In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down and down. It's happened during every economic cycle, and it will happen again. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value and sometimes grows during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
US Med, a trusted supplier of diabetes equipment for nearly 30 years, has great news for people living with diabetes and the pain of regular testing. The days of repeated, painful finger sticks are over. Now you can wear a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, and eliminate routine finger sticks. If you use insulin daily to manage your condition, a continuous glucose monitor could help you control your diabetes and reduce or eliminate those painful finger sticks. If you have Medicare or private insurance, US Med can deliver a CGM system right to your door. And if you qualify, there may be little or no cost to you. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurer directly. Don't spend one more painful day testing your blood sugar. Call now to get your continuous glucose monitoring system so you can take control of your diabetes and get back to enjoying life.
Call US Med now.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat, and welcome to Veronica's segment of the show. Today, I have a very exciting personality from Scottsdale, Arizona. Is it? Yeah.
Yep.
And Mr. Doug Ressler, the intelligence, a business intelligence manager of VRD Metric, is here to discuss with us a very interesting topic. And it's about the Chicago high-income Chicago renter, whereby Chicago takes fourth place in leading hotspots for high-income renters. And we are very interested about this topic because it seems that these days renting is really gone up. And Mr. Doug Ressler, okay, why is that so, that there is an increase in high-income?
We did a study that looked at using the census data that looked at the income for households of $150,000 and up. And what we found, we did a comparison between 2015 and 2020 using that data and then matching it to see if people of that income were renting. And what we found is there was actually an increase in renters for that income group. And as you pointed out, especially in Chicago. So there are a couple of things that are going on with that in terms of why somebody that makes, or a household that has a income of $150,000 or greater would choose to rent as opposed to buy. First of all, the housing market is such that there isn't a lot of housing supply, but what we really see, it's really more about demographic change of renters, that people with high incomes are looking for convenience, safety, and they're looking for value propositions in terms of an asset. So they're trying to rent, or they're renting in transit-oriented developments in city centers like Franklin, downtown Chicago, or along the transit-oriented lines, because of ease of access to be able to get to and from particular areas of work. We find that these people are white collar for the most part, and they're really, the work from home isn't as big from them. They're really going to the office. They're looking for safety. They're looking for larger square footage, and they're looking for amenities. And a lot of the new development, especially in the Chicago area, is providing that in terms of the rental development.
So what is the reason for this increase in is the reason for this, most particularly in Chicago where I live?
Well, we're really seeing that the new technology hubs, Chicago has always been a technology hub, as you know, with Motorola, and also with the schools like Northwestern, places like that, University of Chicago. But we find that there's a growing predominance in terms of people that not only work there, but that the economic diversity that's created around those technology hubs is really driving inbound migration, especially of higher white collar type of folks, and they are choosing to rent as opposed to buy.
I see. So Chicago is number 4. What other cities are on top of Chicago?
Miami was number 1. Miami, gateway cities. We consider Chicago a gateway city. So the gateway cities of San Francisco, LA, New York, and Miami, but Miami was number 1.
So how was the data collected?
Yeah, we looked at Census IPUMS data 2015 to 2020. We also did a comparison with census of the percentage of renters in different geospaces, cities. And then we looked at that time period from 2015 to 2020 to see how it has changed, and by the household income level of 150,000 or greater.
So speaking about markets, what attribute does the Chicago market have on this, high renting?
It has a lot of new development around the transit-oriented facilities downtown, and so ease of access. You have the universities, the academic, so you have a wealth of that. They also, as a gateway market into many of the technology hubs, like the electronic vehicle market that's being developed by Ford Motor Company in the Midwest, Indianapolis, Nashville, parts of Kentucky. So a lot of that infrastructure is being created through supply chains that are coming in through the Chicago market.
Well, that's really nice to know, Doug, because of the reports that we have been receiving about the Chicago population has been decreasing. There has been a large migration outside, going outside of Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we really see that the non-native population, if you look at the most recent census population growth of 1.2 million in terms of December, only 200,000 of that was native population change. So most of the non-native population is really, and we believe that it will continue, and it will continue to escalate, will be larger parts of the migration pattern that feed, especially gateway cities like Chicago, New York, and Miami, because workers are needed, skill sets are needed, and the native population just can't fulfill it. So what you're going to see is non-native populations from Europe, from Asia Pacific Rim, things like that, moving in to be able to fulfill the short labor that's required.
Wow, very, very interesting. Would you have any last word before we sign off about this matter of high income renting?
No, but it's been a privilege talking to you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doug. Thank you for gracing our show today. And thank you for informing us about this very interesting topic of high income renting in Chicago.
Thank you. Bye.
Maraming salamat po sa inyong panonood. Ako po si Veronica. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.
How would you like to get high-speed internet for your home for less than $2 a day? That's right, for about $50 a month, you'll get lightning fast internet. Are you paying less than $50 a month right now for your internet? Then call Whole Home Connect right now for blazing fast internet at $50 a month with no price increases, no hidden fees, no contracts, no equipment fees. It's a great deal. And guess what? You can try it for 15 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back, but you're gonna love it, and you're gonna love the price. Internet for your home for $50 a month. That's less than $2 a day. Plus, no contracts, no equipment fees, and our 15-day guarantee. Call now.
Call 800-555-1212. That's 800-555-1212. Again, 800-555-1212. Don't wait. Call us right now.
We would like to welcome all of you to Baladna Jewelry. We have a very big selection of 21 karat gold jewelry imported from the Middle East, from Dubai, Saudi, and Bahrain. And we have a very big selection of diamond. We offer free financing for 6 months, and we have a layaway system which you can leave your stuff for 3 months. We repair gold and we buy old gold. Welcome to Baladna Jewelry.
Salamat po. Hello, good day, Cprtv viewers. Pastor Ed Cortez here from Faith Family Worship Center. And I'm coming to you to share our devotion for today. It's found in Psalm chapter 2, and the title of this devotion is The Hope of the Coming King. Psalm 2 is one of those messianic psalms that points to the future arrival of an eternal King, Christ the Lord. He is described as the one enthroned in heaven. That's in verse 4 of Psalm chapter 2. He is the absolute sovereign ruler of the universe, with whom no nation, ruler, or power can ever match or compare with. Jesus' first coming was the incarnation, when he came as a human being to suffer and die for the sins of the world. He is coming again a second time, and this is what Psalm chapter 2 is referring about. He is coming again for the second time as the triumphant and reigning King. Why do the nations conspire and the peoples plot in vain? Verse 1 begins the psalmist. You know, there are no political or social institutions ever founded by man that can bring world peace or solve humanity's problems. The League of Nations rose from the ashes of World War I. It was replaced by the United Nations with the same intent of promoting world peace. But world peace proves to be as elusive as ever. Ukraine continues to suffer from the brunt of a devastating war unleashed by Russia. The Middle East has never seen any rest from centuries of conflicts. Myanmar is again spiraling out of control due to another civil war. See, throughout history, there is a desperate call for a new world order in which peace, prosperity, and the rule of law will prevail. But it will only come when a new king, a far greater ruler than anyone in history, will begin to reign. In this Psalm chapter 2, David, considered to be one of the greatest kings of Israel, human kings, He saw the coming of the Messiah as the triumphant, overcoming king. Millenniums ahead of his time, he said, I have installed my king on Zion, my holy mountain. That's in verse 6. So while we await the coming of the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, today, right now, we can welcome him into our hearts by faith. World peace may be beyond the reach of so many political and social institutions, but then we can have internal, personal peace with God through a relationship with his son Jesus. Then, according to verse 11, we can serve the Lord with fear, not out of intimidation or coercion, but out of a sense of awe and wonder and humility to his awesome power, unfathomable wisdom, and perfect judgment. Thank you, and God bless you, and see you next time.
Do you need to get your hands on some extra money right now? Maybe $25,000 or more? If you're a homeowner, now is the perfect time to get cash out. While homes in many neighborhoods like yours have gone up in value, you can use the money for anything. It's yours. You can buy an investment property, pay for college, pay off higher interest debt, or make home improvements. A cash out refinance is the perfect solution to get the cash you need. If you need $25,000, $50,000, or even $100,000, now's the time. Home values are up, and so is your equity. We offer you a way to use it. No need to sell your home or use your savings. Call New American Funding now and speak to a cash out refi specialist and see how much cash out you can get.
Call New American Funding at 855-332-3929. That's 855-332-3929. Call 855-332-3929.
Good afternoon. This is Bridget Carino-Cuadra bringing you this week's local news from our community. The Illinois Department of Agriculture, along with the Office of the State Fire Marshal, are encouraging Illinois farmers to set aside time to recognize Grain Bin Safety Week from February 19th through the 25th and review safety practices while working in and around grain bins. According to researchers at Purdue University, more than 900 cases of grain engulfment have been reported, with a fatality rate of 62%. In the past 50 years, ending in 2010. In 2010, at least 26 U.S. workers were killed in grain engulfment accidents, the highest number on record. It only takes 4 seconds for a full-grown adult to sink to their knees in flowing grain and 20 seconds to be completely buried in flowing grain. Suffocation from engulfment is the leading cause of death in grain bins. The Cook County Land Bank Authority completed the handover of deeds to 12 vacant lots to the 9 recipients of last year's Juneteenth land giveaway. Held in partnership with the Resident Association of Greater Englewood, the giveaway of vacant side lots and deed ceremonies will lead to the development of these lots for valuable community uses. CCLBA also donated 3 lots to local nonprofit Inner City Muslim Action Network. The deed event will be held at Go Green Community Fresh Market, a grocery store in the neighborhood across the street from lots donated to Iman. The Cook County Land Bank was created to combat blight in communities like Englewood that have historically faced disinvestment, said Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle. A more than 1,000-year-old Hebrew Bible could become the most expensive document or manuscript ever to be auctioned when it's sold in May. The Codex Sassoon, one of the only 2 manuscripts containing all 24 books of the Hebrew Bible, will be sold at the Sotheby's in New York with an estimated price of $30 to $50 million. It is the oldest and most complete Hebrew Bible known to experts. Since resurfacing in 1929, the Bible has been in private collections, the New York Times reported. The manuscript, which bridges the Dead Sea Scrolls from the 3rd century BC and the modern form of the Hebrew Bible, will be auctioned for the first time in more than 30 years. The Illinois Department of Revenue reminds senior citizens about the availability of the Senior Citizens Real Estate Tax Deferral Program, which also and allows qualified seniors to defer all or part of their property taxes and special assessment payments on their principal residences. Seniors needing assistance paying their property taxes have until March 1st, 2023 to apply for the program. The program, which works like a loan, allows qualified seniors to defer a maximum of $7,500 per tax year, including both first and second installment payments, increased from $5,000 last year. Deferred accounts are borrowed from the state, who pays the tax bill to the county collector's office. The program was also expanded this year to increase the household income threshold qualification from $55,000 to $65,000. That's all for today. Thank you for watching our news this week. This is Bridget. See you next time.
Tax audits, tax liens, wage garnishments.
Every day we hear stories like this about good folks who are simply struggling to pay their bills. Each of them are living a frightening IRS tax nightmare, and they are afraid it will destroy their lives. If you're struggling with your own tax nightmare, we've got great news. The Tax Relief Line is here to help you. Now you have a knowledgeable, professional team of tax experts that are ready to negotiate with the IRS and fight for you to save you money. The Tax Relief Line's professionals have successfully negotiated thousands of cases, reducing and sometimes even eliminating the tax debt for their clients. It's very easy to get started. Simply call the number on your screen right now. You don't have to live in fear anymore. The call and the consultation are free.
And that's our show for today. Thank you all for watching Chicago Philippine Reports TV. We hope you will stay safe and enjoying this day with your family and friends. I'm Maria Girly Pascual. Maraming salamat sa inyong pagsubaybay and we'll see you back here next week.